I'm sure everyone will agree with me if Genshin Impact is to dominate the mobile games market. No wonder it got so much award and the developer gets so much profit through this game. But I realized this thing is triggering the other games developer to create an alternative or a Genshin Impact killer. All of these games are playable in the open world as well, so you all can do some exploration. Remember to like this video and please enjoy the video of not a Genshin Impact player, try this top 10 game instead, RPG, MMORPG for mobile. Animo. I would give a perfect score to this game. Surprisingly, the developer are making it become a cross-platform game for mobile and also PC. But after I see so many comments, finally I realized the negative and positive feedback seems so balanced. Because some player is quite worried if the game will focusing on gacha base because it released on mobile platform. But let me tell you what, the developer tried to make it become way more fair, especially to a free-to-play player. The game will determine fully by the player skill, so we need to collect the best or the strongest pet, or we call with Animo. We need to make sure the enemy become weaker first to raise the capture rate. Summon your animal into the battlefield and use their unique special ability. Anyway, that's not the only interesting part while playing it, because our hero can transform into various forms of animal and we will inherit a different ability like climbing, swimming, flying, jumping higher and also many more. Seriously, the game's graphics are stunning. I don't even believe how possible the developer enhanced the graphic into this level. One word to describe is unbelievable. Best action RPG game open world for mobile and PC. Project X. Yes, finally we have a new upcoming game that has an anime base. The game's combat mechanism is absolutely interesting. Once you see how smooth battle is, then you will easily fall in love with it. Basically, it has a semi-open world base, which I mean the player can explore the open world only at a certain area, which is in the safety spot, like in the village. Doing some important things like upgrading the hero, find the blacksmith to increase the equipment power, and also level up your hero's strength only available to do once you arrive here. But most of the main missions are only eliminating the enemy that only can be faced through portal and enter the dungeon. The combat looks so interesting. We can switch the character and release the partner skill as an extra skill. Every hero will have their own special skill, but only it can be recharged by lending some skill to the enemy. The ultimate skill will show up with the special animation. It has collectible heroes that we can deploy before we start the combat. Project X is the best new RPG action games anime for Android. Azour Promeia. We need more RPG games with a different innovation, and this game will give you a refreshing experience because the player will have a pretty cool idea of the gameplay where we can capture the pet and let the pet do their activities to support our main character growth by earning some resources or material. So while we are hunting the monster or doing our mission, we can place the pet to do an important task like planting, collecting material, and also finding out their resources. I love how the developer tried to make it become an autopilot base, so the player only needs to focus on clearing the main quest. The game's combat mechanism is we can switch the character, adjust the formation, and release your special skill with a short animation skill but really good in action. Explore the world by riding a flying mount to reach a further area within a short period of time. After doing the beta and refilling the gameplay, then the players start to compare the Azour Promeia with Genshin Impact. Which one do you like the most? Anyway, it's a cross-platform on console, PS5, PC, and mobile. Code Sagetu. I really hope the developer give an update about it. Since the first beta until now, I didn't get any news anymore. Surely it has a huge potential to become a great action RPG or a Genshin Impact light base with a smaller size, but has a perfect combat gameplay even better because we can grapple the enemy while in the air and do a combination combo skill before the enemy lands to the ground. Select 2 more heroes in your team lands up and switch the character anytime. Anyway, it has a semi-open world base that we are only able to explore in a safety area. Find a blacksmith to enhance and upgrade the equipment that can be accessed only while you arrive in the village and strengthen your hero's power there. The dungeon is pretty wide, so we can explore to find a hidden treasure chest and also a crystal as a material for enhancement. Neverness to Everness. Once this open world RPG game released globally, I will guarantee it will break the mobile games market. I never imagined a games developer combining such a different genre at once. GTA gameplay with an anime RPG base, it seems so impossible to combine it. But once you see the whole gameplay, then you will realize how impressive their work is. So we'll have a lot of things to do to kill your time: minigame, exploration, do a sandbox things like riding a vehicle, swimming, accepting so many side quests, working, getting some business, and many more. But of course the main part is combat. In combat, the plan is to understand how the synergy system works. It will boost the hero's strength significantly. We need to make a perfect match between a specific hero to improve the synergy system. I love how fast the combat speed is. With a high intensity and dynamic move will create your adrenaline boost into another level. Overall, it is full of attention to detail in a high level of ragdoll physics. NeverToNTE to Everness or NTE is the best new open world game on mobile, PC and console. Game of Thrones King's Road. I will easily describe how good the game is just by seeing how many players are downloading this game and how much score it got from the Play Store. Seriously, the number is pretty high with more than 1 million players and get a nearly perfect score which is 4.8 stars. But before I explain how it could reach this number, you need to realize how this game needs a very high endpoint to run in the highest setting. Even my phone Snapdragon Elite can't stand against the highest optional setting graphic. But out of that thing, I think the developer successfully delivered a very authentic game open world with a beautiful visual. With a far view distance and pretty detailed atmosphere around you, it will answer the question why it has such an amazing score. This is a fully open world game base where we will not find any single loading screen. The game's combat mechanism is absolutely interesting, even if it seems so slow, but actually it makes the combat look so realistic. With a less sparkling effect skill is enough to indicate it's not a fantasy anime game. We can interact with villagers and see how the ragdoll physics work once you hit them. Game of Thrones King's Road is the best open world game mobile. Epic Conquest X. The reason why I put it on the list is because it has a huge area to explore. Even it's not purely an open world, but the dungeon is quite big and you will need more time to explore the whole area. In the dungeon, there is more than one mission we should clear. It's just like an open world base because we should accept so many objective missions like talking to the NPC, get some material, find some good, and of course killing the entire enemy. Anyway, this is the next sequel of Epic Conquest franchise. If we remember how the game progression is pretty good. Each of the series from Epic Conquest 1, 2, and right now the X version has a huge improvement that I would admit, from the graphic look and how mature the hero is. The combat mechanism is hack and slash based, will become a male hero who's holding a huge sword. The party system will help you a lot in battle. The partner will do an auto action, but actually we can switch the hero and unleash the skill once the gauge meta reaches the maximum. Honkai Star Rail. I am sure you all will think if the best gacha game is Wuthering Waves or Genshin Impact, but actually Honkai Star Rail is the king of gacha game right now. The number of revenue reached $1 billion since the game launched. As a mobile game, this number is pretty crazy. Surely, MiHoYo successfully delivered it to the audience through a high gacha rate and pretty fair game and also balanced difficulty level. But before you download the game, make sure you know how many game size it needs to download the total size. It reached 30 GB. I guarantee most of you don't have enough points pack to handle the highest quality setting. The combat mechanism is a turn-based, but it has a huge open world base effect. The storyline is really engaging with an amazing visual in a cinematic animation. Male and female heroes are available to collect. Absolutely, it's a masterpiece. No word can describe how special this game is on mobile, especially the turn-based game RPG genre. Cardmee. Every time the game does beta testing, I always have a chance to trade. Unfortunately, the game is not really good in optimization, especially the rendering system. It needs a lot of time to render a new area and it makes the game become so laggy. Seriously, this is the first thing the developer should fix. The main gameplay is an exploration base that we can collect a pet by fighting first. Try to weaken the enemy before we start capturing him. It will help you to increase the capture rate way higher. 3 pets, or we can call it with Cardmee, can deploy. Switch the pet based on the enemy's weaknesses to deal more damage. Every Cardmee will have a different elements that will make an advantage and disadvantage, so we need to understand how it works then. I love how we can manage the farm and let the Cardmee to plant some vegetable and the resources that we can use for upgrading the character. It has an auto base, so we can leave the pet while grinding and enjoy the exploration experience. Guongcha, or Return of the Dragon, will play in an urban city where the world looks so modern. There is a lot of restaurants that are open and we can easily find how the appearance of the NPC who are walking around is really up to date. That's how the main concept looks at my first sight. Anyway, you must know how many size it has. It's more than 30 GB in total because you need to download an extra data inside. And after that, you can turn the maximum game setting then. Even though it is an open world base, the developer should add some action to the main character, so we can do some more exciting exploration like climbing, swimming, or even glider action should be added. But anyway, you will be surprised once you see how the combat mechanism is. It's a side-scrolling base, where you need to keep going forward to clear the mission. The hero combo can be changed while in the combat and switch them up as you like. With a fast-paced combat level and very good visualization is enough to describe why this game has 30GB size in total. Absolutely the biggest size game anime on mobile. Where wins meet. I would warn you earlier if this game is really hardcore and I would recommend it for you. If you love a challenging level and want to experience a difficult level, I have died several times once I faced the boss. Yes, that is the fact. You need to anticipate the boss movement and the next forces will be yours. All of the boss attacking patterns are unpredictable, so you need to have a very good reflex then. If you would like to play a single player in-action game with a realistic experience, then I would recommend it as your main priority game that you should play right now. It doesn't have any class option because all you need to do is switch the weapon with a sword, bow or javelin. Even the developer are making the English version right now. These all are the best game to play for mobile with a better graphic and should be good as a Genshin Impact killer or as an alternative. Remember to like this video and see you on the next list. Thanks.